Greetings from World Music Safari. In this episode, the Irish Pennywhistle. So the Irish Pennywhistle, or sometimes called the tin whistle, is a small instrument that has 6 holes in it, but is really unique in as much as it gets 2 octaves out of the whistle itself, whereas the Native American flute gets about 1. From a previous video I used one of those, but it's fairly simple to play. It's got 6 holes in it, and what you do is you take 3 fingers on the top, use your left hand on top. You could use your right, but I don't recommend that, because if or more likely when you switch to another instrument, especially if you go to clarinet or saxophone or something, you're going to have to relearn using your 3 fingers on top. So take your left hand, put 3 fingers on top, take your right hand, put 3 fingers on the bottom. Now, just like all the other woodwinds that I showed earlier, the more holes you close, the lower it goes. To go up, open up. Okay, there's an exception to that rule, and it's about to happen right now. To get to that next note in that octave, you actually have to close all the holes again, and then use just a tiny bit more air pressure to get that octave. So I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm going to play the middle D, and then I'm going to do another octave all the way up to the high octave. So for the most part it works, but you're going to see me close all of my fingers, or I could do this and leave my index finger up. But I usually, for speed purposes, I'll just close them all. Here we go. So you can get 3, my Blue Jays love me. You can get 2 octaves out of this instrument, which is very useful when you're playing Irish jigs and reels. And it's easy to remember which is which. Jig, J-I-G, is in 3, and reel, R-E-E-L, is in 4. So the time signature is 3 and 4. It makes it a little bit easier to remember. Okay, so let's listen to this again. So the Irish Pennywhistle, or like I said, tin whistle, initially was made out of a solid piece of tin. They would take a long piece of tin and wrap it around something, and then there was a wooden piece right here that they would use for the fipple part. I actually used to have one of those, but I think it got destroyed at a gig one time. I'm not exactly sure. So now they make them out of an alloy metal. I picked this one up at a garage sale, but it turned out to be one of my favorite penny whistles. It plays very well in tune. It has a wonderful, nice, has a really nice tone to it. I think it's because the bore is a little bit broader than some of the other ones, but as you know, many of these are used for playing traditional Irish music and soundtracks. The Lord of the Rings used it. Let's see if I can remember that. So the other thing that makes the penny whistle very approachable is, again, it's a flute that plays itself. You don't have to do anything special with your mouth. You don't have to do anything special with your lips. You can just blow into it, or I'll teach kids, and a lot of times I say, don't play my instrument, and I will show you why. Pretty disgusting, I know, but it proves a point. This plays itself. Let me go clean this off. Okay, so this is a standard D penny whistle. You can pick these up. Feedog, F-E-A-D-O-G, makes a really good one. You can pick them up on Amazon. They're just great. They're very, they're solid D penny whistles, which allows you to play in other keys too. You can play in G major, you can play in E minor, using the Dorian scale. You can play in the natural minor, so it offers up a lot. So these I do recommend. Actually, the next one I recommend too, but it's a little more expensive. Now there are large penny whistles. this is also a D pennywhistle. But as I can tell by its size, it's going to be a lot lower, but the sound is beautiful. Same rules apply. So in this next example, I'm going to show a small clip of me playing this pennywhistle along to a few traditional songs. I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's a fairly long example, but you can indeed play reels on these. These are a little more expensive. This is a Tony Dixon that I picked up off of Amazon. It's actually made out of plastic, so they still call it a tin whistle, but it's some sort of injected plastic. But it's nice because they always stay in tune. They do make adjustable, tunable D penny whistles, but I wasn't sure how much I'd like it, so I didn't pay the extra. But it was still probably around $80. So this is definitely not a penny whistle. It's more like a nickel whistle. So the little inflections that make it more Irish sounding, what you do, there's two things that I'm doing. One is, I'm going to grab my smaller one. When you're approaching a note, let's say you're going to approach A, which is these two fingers here. If you want to slide up to it, you'll put your finger down on G and then slowly pull it up. So you get a... And then if you lift your finger up really fast, you get a little trill in there. So that starts to approach that kind of sound that you hear in a lot of Irish music and Celtic music. Okay, that's it for World Music Safari this time. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll see if I can get to them. But in the meantime, pick one up, find some more YouTube tutorials and go to town, and I'll see you next time.